Hello, my name is Farida Abdurrahman, and I talk to Black women about living a life of ease. I talk about remote work and travel and all the things that can make our lives a little bit easier. Today, I want to talk about why I think all Black women, especially if you have a background in education, should become a Scrum Master. So the first thing is, what is a Scrum Master? All right, so a Scrum Master basically is a servant leader. They follow the Agile principles and the Scrum framework effectively. Their main role is to help the team stay organized, remove obstacles, and improve efficiency. So anybody who's a teacher already can see why I think this is the perfect role for you. It's at the point now where it's still very lazy girl friendly, life of ease friendly. And before they move that goalpost and make it so much more difficult and so much more harder and try to combine other roles with being a Scrum Master, I think all Black women should get in and get in while the getting is good. So the first thing a Scrum Master does is facilitate Scrum events. They lead a daily meeting called the Daily Stand-Up and get the team aligned, which is basically, as a teacher, is, I'm going to give my presentation to the class, and let's say the whole class is doing a group project. So I'm just going around to the group saying, what have you done so far? What do you have to go? What is your role? What do you have to do so far? What do you need left to do? So as teachers, we do this all the time for projects. We do this all the time for Socratic seminars, reading circles, so many things. We want to know what every person on the team is doing, so no other team member is overburdened and we can get the job done. So that's basically the daily scrum. We teachers, we Black women, we do it all the time. Another thing is organizes sprint planning, reviews, and retrospectives to ensure smooth workflows, which basically is, what did we do well and what can we improve? So if anyone has been in education, you know about the reflection piece where students reflect on what they did well, what they can improve for next time, and kind of, self score themselves so that we can improve and know what to do better during the next sprint. So number 3 is we remove impediments. All right, so a Scrum Master identifies and eliminates roadblocks and that slow down the team's progress. So anything that my team needs, I'm going to get it to them to ensure that they're able to do their part of the project. All right, so basically, if my students are doing research on different minerals and elements, my job is to make sure I have those minerals and elements in the classroom and I'm divvying it up. If every group needs markers, I'm handing out markers and Sharpies to the groups. If this team needs an expert to come in that talks about, their experience being a nurse or their experience being a firefighter, it's my job as the teacher to go out in the community and find a volunteer who wants to talk to my class about what it's like being a nurse or a firefighter. And that is exactly what a Scrum Master does. They find whatever is slowing down the work, pinpoint that thing, and make sure to facilitate that thing for the group. And they also act as a buffer between the team and outside distractions. So while, it is encouraged for everybody on the team to do individual research, we don't want to get bogged down and have all the facts before we start. So that's the difference between the Agile methodology and the waterfall methodology. Whereas with the old way, you have to have all the research done, all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed. With the Agile methodology is you are building the plane as you fly it, which is so cool. So that may be a little bit different from what we do as teachers, because we do have to do that backwards design and start with the end in mind. But, at the same time, we have summative assessments and we have formative assessments. So with your formative assessments in your classroom, you are, checking students' understanding as you move through the coursework, and then you're readjusting the next day. Okay, they didn't quite get this. Tomorrow I'm going to go back and I'm going to review this aspect. Or, oh, they already know this stuff, I'm going to skip ahead. And that is exactly what a Scrum Master does. So the next thing is that the Scrum Master ensures that the team understands and follows the Scrum principles. So there are some very, very firm Scrum principles that must be followed. And sometimes the organization might want to change certain things in order to fit their quotas, their bottom lines, and you have to really make sure that they stay firm to those principles. For example, sometimes an organization might want to tie certain items that the Scrum is going to do, the team is going to do, to how much money that can make for the organization. And this is really frowned upon. So we have to stick to those Scrum principles. Just like, sometimes schools are under pressure to get state funding and to do certain things that might not necessarily be in the best interest of the child. You as a teacher and you as that strong woman, you're going to step in and say, you know what? I know they're saying to do this, this, and this, and skip this because we have to meet this deadline, but I'm going to give my students what they need. And actually, I'm going to meet my students where they are and build them to where they need to go. So, it's what we do every day as teachers without really talking about it or complaining, but that's what we do. We make sure that we follow best practices with our students to get the best outcomes for our students, even if it doesn't necessarily align with what the organization or the school feel meets their bottom line. We assist with managing the product backlog and prioritizing work. And, the product backlog is basically just all the things that need to be done to accomplish said goal. And just like in a school where we have a huge project, or we're doing project-based learning, we have to show students how to break down those tasks into smaller bite-sized pieces and make priorities and deadlines for each of those pieces. We don't just throw the whole thing at a student and say, hey, make this robot, or hey, make this volcano, or hey, create this novel. We actually go step by step through the process and show students what's the most important thing that needs to be done, what are the deadlines for each step, so that we can cross that finish line without students feeling totally overwhelmed. Next, we ensure that the team delivers value to the business effectively. All right, so the team has a list of items that they need to complete, and each item is assigned a specific value using a certain parameter. I don't want to go too in depth with, that at this point before we dive a little bit deeper in later videos. But basically, think of it as a rubric. If I'm giving my students a rubric for an AP paper that they have to write, every single item that they have to do in this paper, they're going to have different values and they're going to have different levels of importance. So, revising and editing will be worth less points than having an effective thesis statement, having, critical points. So everything is assigned a value and a level of importance. And the last thing that I want to talk about is a Scrum Master does not manage the team, but instead empowers them to work efficiently while fostering collaboration and continuous improvement. So, as a teacher, as a Black woman, that's what we're always doing. We are empowering our team to work efficiently. We are encouraging everyone. Think of Cheryl Pearson, rest in peace, how she would tell all her students that they are somebody and how that they have improved from the day before, and how you got 18 points, but that's better than last time. It's not an F, it's 18 points. And the way she continually fostered that love of learning, that love of improvement, collaboration amongst her students, gave her a legacy that, all educators, we all, for the most part, know her and what an amazing educator and teacher she was. And think of all the movies about educators, throughout my lifetime, I've seen quite a few. All of those teachers have that same thing in common. They have the heart of a Scrum Master. They are helping remove impediments, whether it was gang members outside the school or a principal who just gave up and didn't care, or poverty, or parents that wanted to pull their kids out. Whatever it was, they were removing obstacles for those students, making their lives better, and holding them to high standards. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't I feel so bad for you, you can do whatever. No, they were holding them to high standards, but that support and that encouragement and that I am there for you attitude was always there. So if you're interested in becoming a Scrum Master, I will have more videos about this fascinating field and the Agile methodology. And I'm really excited. I'm going to continue learning. I'm going to talk about Scrum Alliance and why I think everybody should definitely become Scrum Masters, go on Scrum Alliance, get that certification. It's just another tool in that toolbox to live that life of ease that we all really want to live. All right, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, talk to you later. Bye.